This is a short video about active and passive voice. Voice is a question of style, and active and passive voice, as the adjectives suggest, active and passive, it's about understanding the activity that happens in a sentence. And so activity is usually around the verbs of what gets done, who's doing what in the sentence. So active and passive voice is about being active, it's about agency, and it's about performing actions. And verbs are associated with actions. There's sometimes some confusion with students between voice and tense, and I'll explain what the difference is initially, and then we'll move into the active and passive voice. So tense is what we most frequently think about with verbs. That tense has to do with time. It has to do with past, present, future, and other variations on those things. So we might say something like, Thomas took the picture. That clearly is past tense. Thomas took the picture. So the action is taking the picture, taking, but the tense is past tense. Thomas did something. He took a picture. So we all know how to do this. This is fairly straightforward. So if we put that into present tense, we can say Thomas is taking a picture. He's doing it right now. Or Thomas takes pictures. It's his hobby. We can put it into future tense. Thomas will take a picture. Or Thomas is going to take a picture. But in each case, we have Thomas doing something. So it's active, but it's all in different tenses, past, present, and future. Thomas took, Thomas is taking, Thomas will take. So that's the difference between tenses, which have to do with time. What I want to talk about is voice, which has to do with who is doing what. And so the three examples that I gave you of the tense, Thomas taking a picture, those are all in what we call active voice. So we have someone, Thomas, doing an action, an activity, taking a picture. So we can have an active voice in all the different tenses. Thomas took, past tense, active voice. Thomas is taking, present tense, active voice. Thomas will take, future tense, active voice. In each tense, Thomas is active. He's doing something. This may seem very straightforward, and it is. Most of the time in English, we like to speak and listen to active voice. We like to know who does what. Look, Thomas is doing something. Sally's doing something. People are doing stuff all the time. We like that. It's usually pretty clear. So often writers will recommend that you write in the active voice because we're familiar with it. It's easily understandable. So what does the passive voice look like? The passive voice, as the name suggests, is about receiving. That is, the person or the thing is not doing something, but is being acted upon. So there's a passivity there, that I'm not necessarily doing anything. So if we take the example of Thomas taking a picture, we see that there's a bit of a shell game, and I'll diagram this out in a moment, that the subject and the object change places. So here's what happens. If we say Thomas is taking a picture, we have Thomas and a picture. Thomas is the subject, the picture is the object. What's Thomas doing? He's taking a picture. What happens in passive voice is those subject and objects switch places, and here's what it sounds like. The picture is being taken by Thomas. We still have all the same elements. Picture taking Thomas, but they've been changed around. So where active is Thomas takes a picture, passive is the picture is being taken by Thomas. So it has all the same information, but the style is different. One is active, Thomas is taking a picture. The other is passive, the picture is being taken by Thomas. So there's lots of different examples that we can have with this, and I'll post another video with a bunch of examples for you. But just to give you an example is we could say something like, Sally kicked the ball. Sally is active and doing something. To put it in the passive, we say the ball was kicked by Sally. You can say John will bake a cake. That's active. John's going to do something. The passive version is the cake will be baked by John. So we can see that the active and passive voice can be in any tense. It can be past, present, or future. So if we take John baking a cake, in the passive we can say the cake was baked by John, the cake is being baked by John, and the cake will be baked by John. That's all passive voice in all the different tenses. And we can switch that around again to just give you more examples of John baked the cake, active and past. John is baking a cake, active and present. John will bake a cake, active and future. So it's important to understand that it's not that we're talking about tense, but we're talking about voice. A simple test is who is doing what, and often to whom or to what. So we have a subject, John, doing something, taking a picture, and the picture's the object. We have John baking a cake. People do things to things, okay? And so in active voice, we have the subject, verb, object. John bakes a cake. In the passive, we have that reversed. The cake is baked by John. So look around you, look at the world, think about who's doing what to whom, and think about the active and passive voice, and try and switch them around. It's just a kind of back and forth activity. So you want to understand the difference between tenses and the difference between voice.